A very good day to one and all. My name is DEVIKA Kumar and my thesis topic is Community Village for the Orphaned and Abandoned Trivandrum. What is an orphanage? An orphanage is a residential institution for the care of children who are orphaned and abandoned, that is, do not have any caretaker to look after them and their basic needs. These children come from various disturbed backgrounds and are derailed of all the basic necessities of life, which also includes happiness, comfort, and care. The number of orphans globally is noted to be on a drastic rise due to factors like wars, poverty, epidemics, natural disasters, and the list goes on. The children left behind lead terrible lives, and the reflection of their scars remain throughout. This is where an orphanage comes into picture by providing a home and a board that provides them with basic necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, and above all, care and comfort. According to UNICEF, which is the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, an estimated 153 million children worldwide are orphans, and this is still on the rise. The global estimate of countries with highest orphan rates show that India falls among the top 10 countries that constitute to the world's large number of orphan population. In Kerala, orphanages constitute to the highest in number among the type of care homes in the state. The present condition of a majority of these orphanages are of poor housing quality, and the so-called orphanages are usually old buildings that served as a different purpose once. Hence, some of the main problems children face in these orphanages are lack of socialization, improper human development, lack of life skills, non-affectionate life, overcrowding, child neglect, and mainly life as refugees. Understanding and feasibility of the project. The orphan children, due to their disturbed backgrounds, tend to suffer from various behavioral and psychological instabilities. Hence, the neglect of these children can cause these problems to remain as permanent, irreparable damages, both mentally and physically, throughout their life. One of the most important aspects to meet and fix their problems is through space in which the child would grow up. Space and environment can affect physical and mental growth of a child drastically. Architecture as a field can be used to define the spatial environmental quality and can bring about a drastic change and solve this issue through its design. Hence, the aim of my project is to contribute to the recognition of these orphan children, to build the proper environment that provides them with happiness and nurtures them for a better future. This project focuses on to develop an architecturally designed orphanage community that can provide child development and enhance spatial organization and architectural design. The community village I aim to design aims to create a place to learn, play and live for the orphans. Clear zoning of private and public programs will help segregate respective activities as well as serve important. My entire project focuses on to create a sense of belonging for the children who will live here and will eliminate their complete sense of loneliness and neglect. The next question that lingers is, why Trivandrum? In Kerala, the highest number of orphan statistics are found in several districts that include Trivandrum. The present number of orphanages are concentrated towards the northern part of Kerala and are found to be in the need of the districts of Kollam and Trivandrum. A news report data shows that there is a requirement for an SOS model home in Trivandrum for the affected children of survivors of the trafficked and abused victims of the Nirbhaya homes. I have chosen my site at Pothangod considering its development, good accessibility and most importantly, its proximity to existing Nirbhaya homes in the city. The educational facilities in Pothangod also serve as an added advantage for the orphans. Site analysis, location and context. The site chosen is located in Pothangod and the land is owned by the Shantagiri Trust. It is of 25 acres in area and currently a vacant plot. It is situated exactly 1 kilometer east of the Pulantara junction and all necessary services are located in a radius of 7 to 10 kilometers from the site. The Polantara junction is located on the main central road, which is the Karakotam-Kilimano road. The secondary connecting road connects it to our site. The neighborhood context of the site is residential, with the maximum building height being 8 meters. The commercial area is located on either sides of the main central road. Major landmarks in the area include the Shantigiri Ashram, which is located approximately 5 kilometers from the site, the Shantigiri Ayurvedic Hospital and Research Center, the Siddha Medical College, all are located in close proximity to the site. Site and its features. The site is currently a vacant plot with thick vegetation and used for small-scale purposes such as to dry cow dung for medicinal purposes of the Shantigiri Ashram. Climatic study of the site throws a light on its wind direction, which hails predominantly from northwest to southeast in direction. The temperature graphs show that the maximum temperatures occur during the months of March and April, and the monsoon is recorded from June to September. Since the site consists of alluvial soil of high fertility, it consists of thick vegetation that mainly includes trees such as coconut, teak and mango. The site topography is a hilly terrain with contour of maximum height of 14 meters. The site currently has a temporary residential area for workers of the Shantigiri Ashram. Figures of the site drawn show wind flow, natural drain of the site and its highest and lowest points leading to its catchment areas. Site views, sections and SWOT analysis. The site views depicted show views to and from of the site. Due to its thick vegetation, the views are mainly positive views of lush green surroundings. The section of the site shows the contour and gives an outlook of its slope. The SWOT analysis draws attention to its design in manners of accessibility and high elevations that should focus on the safety of children. The site contours enable connection as well as provides an opportunity to explore in terms of connectivity between the spaces. Design strategies and inferences. This sheet shows the inferences gathered from my study. Location and neighborhood context-wise, the site is at an advantage of being in a residential zone away from the main city disturbances, as this provides it with its required private zone and also a residential setting. The site accessibility is limited to just one access or entry, and alternative entry points are to be considered. The site proximity to the main road and primary services such as hospitals, police station within a radius of 4 kilometers proves an added advantage. The existing site contours enable to explore different methods of construction considering the natural drain. The vegetation of the site shows us the presence of large canopy trees that can be used extensively for shading and cooling purposes. My project calls for a lot of open spaces and gathering spaces that includes play areas, and hence a majority of trees are to be and can be incorporated in the design. The vegetation can also be used as buffer regions to segregate private, semi-private and public zones on the site. The consideration of climatic factors proves the feasibility of an open plan, which is the main objective in the community village. The sun path is from east to west, and hence orientation of buildings can be done in the same orientation with proper shading devices, and north to south direction regions can have more of open and gathering spaces. Wind cooling design strategies such as wind catching towers, jali walls, etc. can be provided. KMBR rules considering existing wells on site state that the location of septic tanks must be 7.5 meters away from the wells. Water shortage occurs during hottest months of March to April, and water tanks installed on site add as an added advantage. The buildings should be zoned in a manner they enable great views and away from the noise of the main road. The building setbacks can create vistas on the contours. Life Case Study 1, Sai Gramam, Trivandrum. The Sai Gramam orphanage is located in Thonikil, Trivandrum. It is an orphanage for boys of the age 4 to 18 years. The orphanage houses various activities as well. The reason I chose Sai Gramam is due to its community-type living and how various activities are brought into the project. I also focused on how the spaces are arranged and how the relationship affects the children. Life Study 2, SOS Village, Kochi. I studied the SOS Village, Kochi that nurtures over 150 children. It is situated in Alua. The reason why I chose to study this is because of how it is planned. The SOS Village is planned in a manner that it has 15 houses with 8 children housed in each, and it is arranged in a semicircular pattern on the site. Each home has one caretaker who is called the mother to look after the needs of the children belonging to that particular house. The site is designed with ample shade provided using its landscape and creating exactly a residential neighborhood atmosphere. This proves to be a really good factor that enables the children in the village to grow mentally and induces high levels of interaction between them. The major difference I noticed in the two life studies were that in Sai Gramam, it was more of a hostel or dorm arrangement with common mess halls, etc., whereas in SOS, it is mostly a home feeling with each house allotted with its own kitchen, dining, and living areas. My literature studies included the Children's Eco Village in Kenya. This case study was mainly taken to study how the spaces are zoned. The design also throws light into how the village is designed in response to the high temperatures of Africa. It is planned as a self-sustaining village with clear zoning of programs. Public areas that include community hall, training centers are zoned near the site entry, whereas semi-private spaces are followed after the public areas. The residential areas contribute to the private areas that are located further towards the end of the site, limiting its access and hence keeping its privacy. The climatic response in the design is adapted through its materials and large openings provided. My second literature study includes SOS Village, Djibouti. This project is done on a site that registers some of the hottest climates in Africa. The design typology of this project is that of a Medina, which is a traditional Arabian concept of a city. The planning of the village is done in a manner that it is a cluster of residences with plenty of open spaces between them. Since the clustered arrangement derives lack of cross ventilation, the buildings are designed with the presence of wind towers to discharge heat where needed. The overlapping homes ensure ample shade, which is important considering the climate. The narrow streets and squares formed between the buildings become the main spaces of recreation for the children. Comparative analysis, case studies and inference. From all the comparisons, the inferences derived are location and context-wise, the site chosen is apt, adhering to residential neighborhood setting, and all primary services are located in close proximity to the site. Accessibility to the site should be made easy considering the case of emergency situations. Programs and activities. A variety of programs and activities can enable children to interact well and also nurture the talents in them. Building typology and materials used. The building typology should be decided considering climatic factors. Locally sourced materials can also aid in trade. Materials used should be able to last long and withstand harsh weather conditions. Site zoning and building orientation. The public spaces such as offices and administration can be zoned near the main entry of the site, and this provides the privacy required for the cottages which are zoned further into the site. The space in between the public and the private zone can be used as a connectivity space between both the areas of the site. Gathering spaces, open areas and playgrounds. Water bodies will be able to control the microclimate in the site, but safety should be kept in mind when providing a water body because the main user group is children. Providing open spaces and playgrounds will aid in high level of interaction among the children, and this will aid in their mental growth. Zoning. My next step is zoning, and hence before the same, I am identifying the buildable and non-buildable regions of the site. The site is contoured with a maximum height of 14 meters and with each contour height difference being 1 meter. The contours flow from east to west with the highest point being at level 101 and the lowest being at level 88. To identify the buildable and non-buildable regions, I have done a slope analysis. The non-buildable region of my site is a steep slope with the highest level being at level 101 and lowest at level 88. I have drawn my site sections to depict the same. Also to mention, the main road to my site enters it at level 98. Next is several sections that I have taken of my site. This shows different levels of my site and its steepness. These are the latitudinal sections, while these show the longitudinal level difference of the site. The next step I have done in the process is identifying the proximity and several distances from regions of the site. This is done so as to identify proper placement of activities on the site and to identify suitable pedestrian access. The site model done gives a deeper understanding of the site contours and slope. From all the above steps, I have concluded with the final zoning. The main factor I based my zoning is on privacy. Starting from the main entry to the site, I have zoned the public area closer to the main axis so as to restrict the main vehicular movement further into the site, considering the presence and safety of children. Next is the non-buildable region of the site, and hence it can be used as a buffer space for the further zoned spaces. This region acts as a semi-public region with stepped landscape features, allowing the contour to retain its original characteristics. Since the sloped region is located at level 101 and slopes down to level 88, which is the lowest point, interesting visual connections can be made using spaces. The lowest region of site acts as the main catchment area, and hence during monsoon it can act as a temporary water body with water depth of maximum 1 meter. During the non-monsoon seasons, it will act as a platform for kids to play. Moving further into my site, I have zoned the semi-private area. This consists of the admin block, multipurpose hall and the cafeteria. The reason of zoning this in the central of the site is due to considering visitor access to the site. If I have a visitor coming to the site, the main public area consists of the training and counseling center, and hence the access can be restricted at that point. But only a limited number of people would want to visit the orphanage and have orphanage related activities, and hence they can be admitted to the admin block, and hence zoning the admin block in this region can also act as a privacy buffer to the residential area, which is located further into the site. The private zone of the site consists of the residential cottages and will house 12 individual homes for the children following a cluster concept. Recreational areas are zoned close to the private zone and towards the east of the site, considering evening cool winds and shade. The dotted red curves show how pedestrian pathways are to be connected. Links should be created connecting all zones of the site to each other. Block placing. This shows as to where I should place my buildings. The public zone consists of the Training and Counseling Center and Child Skill Development Center. It is located at the main entry as it's open to the public access. It prevents excess vehicular movement further into the site. The Child Skill Development Center is again zoned based on privacy with the Training and Counseling Center. It is located at lower contours compared to the Training and Counseling Center. Zoning on lower contours provides it with privacy again from the vehicular region. The main road enters the site at level 98, and this is to be followed till the admin block. The residential areas are then zoned based on a cluster concept, with each cluster consisting of a group of houses and spaces of interaction between them. Concept. Sense of belonging. The concept of the design is applied to the core of this project, which is the residential area. Sense of belonging is about how I can create a feeling of home, a feeling of intimate spaces in my project. So how this has been done here is by taking the idea of clusters. Each cluster will have a group of 3 houses each, and on site, 4 clusters as such will be placed in relation with each other. When I tried doing that, I understood that in order to have a connectivity or relation of each cluster to one another, they need to have a common focal point or common center. This common focus or center can be developed into a recreational space, which can be provided as a hangout space or a play court. This common space will be zoned in proximity to the admin block in order to provide a view into the atmosphere of the orphans playing and having fun. So the visitors here can taste a sense of belonging and vibe of the orphanage atmosphere, of the children and their lives here through this project. The clusters are also provided with connections between them. Clusters here are provided as landscape regions with 2 to 3 houses each. The houses will also be separated from each other using landscape features such as courtyards, gardens, and other buffer vegetative spaces. Final design, master plan. The master plan shows the complete layout of various buildings and activities on the site. Starting from the main entry, the road takes a turn to the Training and Counseling Center with parking area located adjacent to it. The road reaches the drop-off at the Training and Counseling Center and further takes a turn to exit the site. This is the vehicular pattern of the public region. To access the admin block, the road at the turn moves further into the site, leading to the semi-public region, which is the admin block and its features. The parking space provided in its adjacency aids visitors and staff to the area. Pedestrian paths are provided on either sides of the road using trees for shade across its perimeter. The portion at the center of the site, which is also the lowermost region, acts as a common platform for various events and also as a leisure space. The contours surrounding are provided with steeped seating and also retaining the original characteristics of the contour. A buffer region is provided from the road and the platform using the contours by keeping them in their original form, also adding to the beauty of this project. The residential region, being the core of my project, is surrounded by a 7-meter wide road whose sole purpose is to accommodate emergency vehicles only in case of urgent situations. The road at the other times acts as a cycling track around the residential community. The residential community consists of 12 houses that house 8 children each with a caretaker to look after them. Designed between the houses are recreational lawns, organic farming plots, badminton courts, etc. The core region of the community consists of play lawns, sand pits, and playgrounds. The climbing wall remains the main attraction of the core. A small OAT is placed for small programs during festive seasons and also a leisure spot. The recreational zone has a basketball court, badminton court, and lawns to play. Tree grills are provided at points in the community that provide shade and seating spaces. The main stair connects the lower portion of the community to the higher portion, which is at a height difference of 2 meters comparatively. The section of the site shows how the public and private region of the site is separated, still maintaining its character. The section through the residential orphan cottages show the community atmosphere of the close placing of houses that rises high interaction among the user groups. Training and Counseling Center. The Training and Counseling Center is provided for the students from the orphanage as well as remains open to public. It provides training programs such as stitching, tile and block printing, seminar, and talks on self-development and jobs. Moving to its plan. After drop-off at the porch, the main entry opens to a lobby that houses the reception. Placed near the reception is the office wing of the building that has staff cubicles and VIP rooms. It has a bookstore that can be accessed from the lobby as well for the visitors. On either side is the public washrooms and main canteen. The canteen has a service entry access that is in connection from the main road. A ramp from the lobby transits into the next level of the plan. This level sits at 1 meter lower from the first portion of the building. It consists of staff rooms, seminar rooms, and also the counseling room. This level opens to an outdoor area of the healing gardens and lush landscape in the surrounding. A second ramp transits to the next level of the building that consists of the workshop rooms, washrooms, cafes, martial arts studio, and the library that offers views to the surrounding green of the site. The building also accommodates plenty of wind flow as its orientation is in a way to capture the same. These are a few 3D views of the block. Child Skill Development Centers for ages 4 years to 8 years. The Child Skill Development Center is situated on the last end of the Training and Counseling building. It is done as the ground floor at level 89. The Child Center is located at the lowermost contours of the site in regard to maximum restriction of vehicular access owing to the safety of children. Moving to the plan, the entry of the building at the lower level is accessed by a ramp 3 meters above. The entry of the building leads to the lobby that has an office, VIP room and meeting room for talk and meetings for parents. It has washrooms for visitors on the either end. Moving further into the building is an indoor courtyard that offers views to the outdoor play area. The indoor play areas consist of child-friendly spaces and furniture with a colorful theme. The classrooms have one-side access to the outdoor play areas where the kids can play. An emergency medical room is provided in case to use in ardent situations. The proximity of a number of hospitals in close proximity to the site adds as a huge strength. Staff cubicles are provided for temporary use even though a majority of time they will be spending with the children. Common canteen is provided for the orphans of the community and staff for lunch. It can also be used by the public user groups. Shown below is a section of the entire block as to how it is situated at levels. Residential cottages. the core of the project, the community living. The residential area of the project aims to create a sense of belonging for the children. There are 12 houses in the community that are grouped into clusters. Each house is a cluster that is separated by recreational spaces such as sandpit, badminton court, and lawns. These clusters are further separated from each other using similar features that include organic farms that can involve children in the farming activities and also gives a small-scale produce to the cottages. The central focal point, as explained in the concept, is brought here in the form of play lawns, playgrounds, and a small OAT. The closeness of these features brings about an intimacy in the whole community setting. The climbing wall provided adds color to the atmosphere that tackles the playful scenario of the young minds. The sand pits with playgrounds offer play to the children residing here. Tree grills are provided at several points in the site and acts as a seating space as well as hangout spots. The recreational portion consists of the basketball court and badminton courts. Landscape features provided enhances the beauty of the community and adds to the homely scenario. The main stair provided to connect the lower level of the community to the higher, which is at a height difference of 2 meters, acts as a seating space and also provides access to the houses at the intermediate levels. Moving into the individual plan of the cottages. Each cottage or house is a 2-storied building housing 8 children and a caretaker. 4 bedrooms are provided in each house that would house the children, whereas the caretaker would share the room with the smaller children, in turn giving them the motherly care they require. Each house will have 8 children of mixed age groups, varying from ages 4 to 18. This is to enhance interaction and care between all the age groups. The ground floor consists of the bedroom for the smaller kids and the caretaker, whereas the first floor consists of 3 bedrooms for the older children. A common study area is also provided in the top floor. The terrace of the house contributes to gardening and also offers view to the neighboring houses as well as the core of the community. I finally conclude my project with several pictures of the community living, which contributes to the sense of belonging of my project. Community living for the orphaned and abandoned, Trivandrum. Thank you.